Here's the thing nobody told me about shamanic healing. It's not about the pretty visuals. It's not about some Instagram aesthetic. It's raw. I wasn't planning on having a spiritual awakening. Honestly, I just wanted to stop feeling so stuck. This channel explores the unseen world of shamanism, energy healing, and the power of plant medicine. Here's the thing nobody told me about shamanic healing. It's not about the pretty visuals. It's not about some Instagram aesthetic. What I felt may not be typical. It may not be what you feel either. For me, it was intense. I realized how each element of that ceremony played a part in my transformation. But at the time, I didn't know any of that. I remember thinking, I didn't get any answers, but I got something better. I got myself. I walked out of that ceremony shaky, vulnerable, and whole. I didn't have all the answers. In fact, I had more questions than before. But I was no longer afraid of the questions. I was no longer afraid of me. Where your wounds live and how your spirit is still alive under all that noise. And I'm so grateful for that day, for the shaman, for the group, for the medicine. Because in that moment of surrender, of vulnerability, of letting go, I found myself. I found my strength. I found my voice until we meet again. And that's the most beautiful thing shamanic healing can do for you. It gives you back yourself. You don't have to understand everything for it to work. To heal your wounds, then I encourage you to try it. Who knows where it might lead you, what doors it might open, what treasures you might find within yourself. All you have to do is take the first step, ask the question, be open to the answer. You just have to show up with respect, with humility, and with a willingness to listen. All I knew was that I needed that experience. I craved the rawness, the honesty, the vulnerability. And I didn't just find it in myself, I found it in everyone there. We were a mix of ages, backgrounds, beliefs. Some people cried. Others laughed. Some were silent, some vocalized, some were shaking. Others were still. And that was okay. There was no pressure to perform, to look a certain way, to behave a certain way. There was only acceptance, respect, and deep listening. I'll never forget that drumming. It wasn't just background music. It was a tool, a medicine, a language that spoke directly to my soul. My heart opened. First, do your research. Educate yourself about different healing modalities, techniques, and traditions. There's a lot to learn, but you don't have to master everything before you start. Next, find a qualified practitioner. This is crucial. Your healing depends on who you choose to work with. Look for someone experienced, certified, and aligned with your values. Finally, be patient with yourself. Healing takes time. It's a process. Trust the journey and trust yourself. Now, obviously, I'm not saying shamanic healing will solve all your problems. It doesn't. It's not a quick fix. It's a deep dive. It's a commitment to yourself, your healing, and your growth. What shamanic healing does is help you tap into your inner power. It helps you connect with your intuition. It helps you heal your wounds, and most importantly, it helps you love yourself more. It's a journey of self-discovery, of facing your fears, of confronting your demons, and of embracing your true, authentic self. It's not always comfortable. It's not always easy, but it's always worth it. And as the rhythm pulsed through me, so did a primal energy. I felt my body vibrating. Then the tears came, cleansing, releasing, purging years of emotional backlog. I didn't realize I'd been holding on to grief, trauma, fear, anxiety. It poured out of me during that ceremony. Was it the drums, the herbs, the energy of the group? Maybe it was all of that and more. But I stopped resisting the flow. I leaned into it. I cried until my body shook. And with each sob, I felt a weight lifting, a burden releasing. It's raw. It's real. It's uncomfortable. And it's a doorway to a part of ourselves we often forget exists. The room where the ceremony took place wasn't fancy. It wasn't some yoga studio or crystal shop vibe. It was a friend's basement, but they transformed it. They put up these hand-painted claws that almost look like cave paintings, depicting jaguars, spirits of the earth. There were candles made of beeswax, incense. It smelled like sage and copal. And right in front, an altar, not elaborate, but sacred. There were crystals, feathers, tobacco leaves, seeds, flowers, a gourd full of water, an offering to Pachamama, the earth. And there he was, the shaman. I won't use his real name because of safety reasons, but I call him Miguel. He's a Quechua shaman from the Amazon. He comes from a long line of healers. He's trained for decades. He speaks fluent English. But that day, he wore traditional dress, his face painted with ancestral designs. When he entered, there was this hush of respect. I felt it too, despite my doubts. That's when I knew this wasn't a joke. I share my personal experiences, but also insights from shamans, healers, and teachers around the world. And today, I want to take you into my first shamanic healing ceremony. Remember though, every experience is unique. Your journey will be yours, emotionally numb, disconnected from myself. Like I was carrying around pain I couldn't even name. A friend of mine mentioned this shamanic healing ceremony happening nearby. It wasn't some trendy wellness retreat. It was raw, real, sacred, led by someone trained in indigenous wisdom, not a YouTube guru. I was skeptical, but I was also desperate, so I went. It's real, it's uncomfortable, and it's a doorway to a part of ourselves we often forget exists. So here's my story. I didn't go looking for a shaman. The space was quiet, dim, and filled with this smoky, earthy scent I couldn't name at the time. Turns out it was Palo Santo. People weren't talking much, they were listening. Not just with their ears, but with something deeper. We sat in a circle. The shaman opened the ceremony with a blessing, something about the 4 directions, the ancestors, the spirit of the land. I remember feeling ... weird, like I was in over my head. But then the drumming started, slow, deep, repetitive. Like it wasn't just sound, it was doing something, and that's when it started. I felt this heat rise in my chest, my body tensed. And suddenly, out of nowhere, I don't even remember what it was. I started crying, not a little, I mean ugly crying, and I had no idea why. There were no words, no story, just grief, pouring out of me like it had been waiting years to be let go. The shaman didn't come over and tell me what to feel. He just kept drumming. He let the medicine, the rhythm, the ritual, the space do its work. Later, there was chanting. There were herbs, a moment of stillness, a release. And by the end of the ceremony, I wasn't fixed. But something had shifted. I felt lighter. Not like my pain disappeared, but like I was no longer carrying it alone. Like a door inside me cracked open and the real healing could begin. If you're new here, welcome. Back to the story. Now, what actually happened during that ceremony? Well, I can tell you what I experienced. But remember, each journey is unique. Later, when I learned about the healing power of the cacao, the sacred fire, the despacho afterward. When it was over and we shared in the silence for a moment, the next day I woke up with this sense of calm I hadn't felt in years. My anxiety lifted. My mind quieted. If you're curious about shamanic healing, here's what I recommend. Shamanic healing isn't just about magic. It's about remembering who you are. That first ceremony changed my life. It led me to more ceremonies, more healing, more growth, more love. And if you're ready to reclaim your power, to reconnect with your spirit, thank you for watching. Do not forget to like and subscribe, and may your day be filled with light and laughter. And may your path be filled with joy and peace.